Nam- Namaste, namaste everybody. This is Bharat from Hidanian Bharat, and this is our 31st conference on on our civilizations. And today we are grateful to have among us Mr. Uh, Guruji Sundara Ananta from Malaysia. He will be telling about his book Caste is not Hindu. So Namaste Guruji, nice to meet you Guruji.
Namaste and welcome everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity and my co-author Akshay Simran to speak on this. Shall we start?
Yes Guruji, the recording is on. Yes Guruji.
First, let me tell a little bit of why we wrote this book. Okay, this is the book.
Yes Guruji.
Okay. The reason being, there's been a lot of false and wrong information. More than false, I would say wrong information that has been circulating for more than almost 200 years and above. Okay. And we wanted to set the narrative right. So, in fact, we have another co-author. He couldn't attend today. He is Pardeep Kumar Kukreja ji. Pardeep ji is here. Welcome, Pardeep ji. Okay. So he's our co-author who invited me and Akshay Simran to be involved in writing this book because the caste narrative has been used as a weapon in order to convert Hindu children. Pardeep ji runs 17 Gurukulams in Malaysia, helping the underprivileged children, free education, free food, and it's been going on for quite a number of years. And in his experience, he found that Hindu children are easy targets of conversion from all other religions. So that's when he reached out to me, and I was introduced to Pardeep ji by our Ganesha Muthukumaran ji from Toronto, Canada. And so the journey started, and we did a lot of research. Okay? The research took us up to backwards in time, up to Marco Polo in the 13th century, because we had to read Marco Polo's travels to Bharat to know how was the situation in Bharat at that time. And we gathered a lot of information. And we have enough research to write actually 3 to 4 volumes of true history. If we wanted to write a history book, it will come to 3 or 4 volumes. But after much discussion with Pandit ji, Akshay ji, and myself, we said that a lot of people in the world don't have time today, so they're not going to be able to read 3 or 4 volumes. So we summarized all the historical facts into this 148-page book to make it a quick read so that people in the world will come to know the true history. Then if they want to know further, then they can Google it or buy the books and read more into it. Now, I would like to start on the main topic by asking a question, right? Caste, the word caste, it's not a Sanskrit term or it's not from any other Indian languages. Caste is the Portuguese and Spanish word. Okay? The meaning of caste till today, if you look at caste, casta, it shows that it's of blood-based lineage, right? So a king's son will be a king, a servant's son will be a servant, a slave's son will be a slave. It's not interchangeable. It's very rigid, and that's what caste means. So the Europeans, the Portuguese, the Spanish, and all, when they went out to conquer the world, they already had a fixed image that the whole world will follow their narrative. of their caste system. Okay, the Portuguese and Spanish caste system is what they believed in. So it's here, it's in their mind. Wherever they go, then they look at it in the same lens. Their views like that. So when they came to India, they tried to fit everything they saw into their hierarchical, blood-based caste system. That's about it. It's very simple. So now my question is, who told us, who told us the whole of Bharat, the whole of the Hindu civilization, that the word caste is equal to Varna and Jati? Who said that? Let's all think together. We need to think. We really need to think this deeply. We ask ourselves this question because the narrative we carry in our mind is the one that we are going to pass on to our children and the next generation. And this is mainly our fault. It's our own civilization, Hindu civilization's fault for accepting the wrong narrative, the lies, right? Again, I repeat the question because I want everyone here, because I don't know how many people are going to watch, but you all are the first person that we are talking to, and you all should be convinced that what is caste? Caste is casta from Portuguese and Spanish. Then what is varna? What is jati? Right? So, would you all believe me if I say there's no definition for caste, varna, and jati in Bharat? There's no books on it defining what it is. They made it seem like that everything is the same. When people talk, say in our language, we say varna, we say jati, and because we learn the English language, we immediately translate it to mean caste, and people accept it. We Hindus, a lot of them accept it. It means the same thing. That's the story in this book. It doesn't mean the same thing. Caste is based on blood lineage. Varna, it is in our scriptures. Varna is a natural social order in every part of the world, right? Based on our inner aptitude, the ability to learn, the ability to learn shastras or learn anything, and then what vocation we are going to do in our life. That is Varna. Very, in a simple definition, we have made it as Varna means inner aptitude because it's based on the gunas. Our intrinsic gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, are the one will give us the inclination whether we want to learn something or we are not going to learn something. Everybody is born equal. Believe me, everybody is born equal. The inequality was started by the British, not us. Hindus don't have the unequal thing in their shastras, right? The Varnasrama is four, right? Shudra, Vyasha, Kshatriya, Brahmana. Only four. Where does the untouchable come from? It's not in the Varnasrama Shastra. None. They only talk about four. Who inserted the fifth one? That is the question. That is the question we answer in this book. Right? So in this book, okay, we have questioned all these things. Caste is not Hindu. It's not a Hindu word. It doesn't come from Indian civilization. It doesn't come from our Shastras. Varna comes, is a social order. Okay? And then Jati. Jati is professional trade group. Jati is professional trade group. There are enough evidence in our history to prove that. But nobody takes the trouble to study history. So they just listen to what is printed in the paper, printed in Facebook, social media, and they believe the narrative. But we all know that the social media and English medium papers and tabloids all and news is controlled by the Western world, not by us. Just because we understand the language, why do we choose to listen to that language alone? Whereas in our language, in Sanskrit, in Hindi, in Tamil, in Marathi, in Telugu, in Malayalam, all we have proper uh, shastras, books that we can do our research on. So these three things are different. Number one, everybody has to understand, based on our own history and historical records of the British, these three things, caste, varna, and jati, are different. That we have to tell our younger generation and to everybody who we come into contact with. This is our narrative. We have to play a big part in it. It's different. Next question. Okay. Brahmin. It's a very interesting topic. I like to talk about this all the time. Brahmin. What is the meaning of Brahmin? Can anybody tell me? Anybody have an idea? What is the meaning of Brahmin?
I'm just
Right?
Anybody from the audience who wants to answer this question by Guruji? Who is a Brahmin? Means what do you think it to be? Well,
What
for
does Brahmin mean?
for me, it means anyone having the knowledge of the Brahma or trying to seek means trying to uh, what do sadhana about the Brahma. He is called Brahmin.
Similar to the modern search, right? We were always constant search. So at that time, they hypothesized, hey, this is the fundamental element for all of this existence. And people who try to understand that and explore and push the world forward, right? Those people are, in my view, are called Brahmins. It can be done in multiple ways, right? Either knowledge, karma, whatever paths that they have given, right? It can be any path, combination of paths, but understanding the true nature of the world, the person who tries to go in that path is called Brahman.
Okay. Now, very good explanation both of you gave. My question back to Ramarauji. Is it Brahmana or is it Brahmin?
I am, honestly, I'm going to be very, do not know the difference between Brahmi and Brahmana. I'm a guy learning.
No
so if
problem.
you explain, I will absolutely try to understand.
No problem. But your answer is very good answer, because that's why I wanted you all to participate so that I can explain to you all. In our scriptures, the term used is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And in Sanskrit, okay, when Hindi they say Brahman, so forget about Hindi. We are talking about the Shastra, scriptures, they are all in Sanskrit. Okay, we refer to the Vedas, Veda, and all that. In those, the four varnas are said Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And grammatically, it all ends with A. A, 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 A. Okay? Now, I give you a group of words. Okay? Brahman. Brahman means we have Brahman, Brahma, Brahmana, Brahmi, and Brahmin. Brahman means the infinite energy or the formless aspect of universal energy. In Vedanta, this is the Nirguna aspect, formless. Okay? That's Brahman. Primordial energy, before anything takes place, before the manifestation of the world. That's the meaning of Brahman in Vedanta. Then we have Brahma. Brahma is the aspect with form. With the Murti has four heads. Okay, so Brahman is without form, Brahma is with form. Okay? That's the creator's image we have. Then is Brahmana. Brahmana is one who studies about Brahma and Brahman. A student, a scholar who's pursuing the knowledge of truth. And studying Brahma and Brahmana is Brahma and Brahman is Brahmana. Brahmi is the Devi who has the aspects of Brahma, the creator, is his Shakti. So it's Brahmi. Then the two is the feminine aspect, Brahmi. Right? So we know Brahma, Brahman, Brahma, Brahmana, Brahmi. Brahmin is not a Sanskrit word. Did anyone know that? That Brahmin is not a Sanskrit word. It's not an Indic word at all. There's no such word in Indian language. I hope you all understand the difference, right? So, since we don't have a word called Brahmin, then now the next question comes. Who created this word? We have to ask. There's no such word in Brahmin. We only have Brahmana, no Brahmin. But then everybody, when they speak English, When they speak Indian languages, they say Brahmana, Brahman, and all that, Brahmar girl in Tamil and all that. But immediately when we change our language to English, oh, the Brahmin guru, the Brahmin guy, the Brahmin priest, wrong. It is totally wrong. So, Brahmin is not a Indic word. Brahmin was concocted by the British. That's the true history, right? And in this book, Caste is not Hindu, we have the proof of where the word Brahmin came from. We refer to the dictionary, Sanskrit English dictionary, printed, published by Oxford and Monia Williams Sanskrit English Dictionary, English Sanskrit Dictionary, from 1880s and 90s. So the original in that dictionary, the Western books, if we go through when we did our research, we went through a lot of the Westerners books. Whenever they talked about a Brahmana, they took the A away and they wrote them as Brahman. The Brahman priest, the Brahman man, the Brahman king. They dropped the R sound at the back because their language does not support the R sound. Ours does. Sanskrit, Tamil, Hindi, a lot of our Indic language support the R sound. We finish a lot of words with vowels, open-ended vowels, right? English language, most of it finishes with consonants. So they dropped the A and it was easier for them to pronounce Brahman. So the original dictionary, they wrote the Brahman and the meaning in it was a scholar, a student, a scholar, a learned scholar, a priest, like that. Original, that is in the late 1800s. That was the original dictionary, they printed the term. But over the years, they convoluted the term and they stopped using Brahman and it was printed as Brahmin. All the dictionaries, you can check the dictionary, you can Google it, you can check, you can buy, you can find it. All the dictionaries of the Western world, they write it as Brahmin, and it has been changed from a student, scholar, a learned person, priest to an upper caste Hindu, an upper caste priest. This was in the 1900s. So the narrative changed. Now, we must ask ourselves, why did they want the narrative? That we believe that is our language, which it is not. So then, after introducing that in the dictionaries and all the scholars in the Western academia, and even a lot of them, majority in India, they accepted this dictionary and they used it as reference. See, we must understand how does a narrative take place. This is very deep theory. Okay, so how does a narrative take place? Narrative takes place when, first of all, people in the academic world, they write papers. They write their theses, their papers, and then their theory, their hypothesis. Once the hypothesis is proven, it becomes theory. And if it's proven many times, then it becomes a real formula or a practical application in science. The same thing, all these narratives were again and again retold in various ways in different countries so that people will believe them, and then the other language papers or books pick up from these articles and papers and then they translate in their own language and print it. So this has been going on for 200 years. Nobody questioned them, nobody stopped them. And so the whole narrative became Brahmin, upper caste, lower caste, and everything was inserted little by little until we all believe that this is the truth. Whereas the truth is something else which is different. Right? In our book, Caste is not Hindu, we start the chapter with the situation in medieval Europe in the 13th century, 14th century, 15th century, 16th century, and all that. Because we had to show the people who are going to read the book, they have to understand what motivated the Western world to go out and colonize other countries, right? So their motivation was given by their pope and their kings. they have the three G's: gold, gospel, and glory. Okay? And they went out to the world to conquer the countries and then take over the land and also take the wealth away. At the same time, they had a mission to convert the people of the natives of the country to Christianity. Okay, that's a fact. That's it's in the history records. America, South America, Africa, India, the whole world. That's what they did. Australia, New Zealand, and all that. So in the first chapter, we highlight the why they had to go out, why they went out, and all that. And then we go on to talk about the when they were very feudal system and they were very poor and uncivilized and unscientific, the Western world. Okay, this during this time period, and they had very archaic and very cruel laws that time, where people were frightened of the king and the army, and then they were penalized, they were punished, they were killed. There were so many, they burned people at the stake, the witches. The whole history is there. So we retold the history a little bit for people to understand. And then we showed the difference of Bharat. And then when we come to Bharat in the Middle Ages and we go back up to few thousand years in the BC, Bharat was already a highly evolved civilization with a lot of universities that have been burned down by invaders and very high level of knowledge. The Shastras were already there. The Shastras were not something newly found, newly printed, newly written. The Shastras had been there for thousands of years and it was memorized and it continued until today. It's one undivided and unbroken civilization for all these years. So we have to see that there is an imbalance. We were very wealthy and we had everything. We had magnificent temples and all that, whereas the Western world didn't have anything of that. Okay? Their progress was in the last 200 years after they found India, Bharat. Okay? So their model at that time, colonization model, was copy pasted by almost all the Western countries. Right? There's a chart in the book that we show of all the countries: France, Germany, Netherlands, Spain, you name it, Portugal, Germany, Austria, it goes on, the list goes on. Okay? And their colonies, which countries they colonies, and they held it for how many years. Because most people think that it's only England and France and Netherlands, a few countries that colonized. No, that was their business model. Please understand, that was their business model. Their business model was to go out and colonize countries, indigenous countries, take over the land, take over the wealth, make the natives work for them so that they could enrich themselves. And they became rich by taking wealth from Bharat, causing famines and so many things. And they siphoned off shitloads of wealth from Bharat. And in regards to that, they became very well to do. And I think now they're running out of money. After 200 years, they're running out of money. So, all these things was the reason for them. They wanted to be in control forever, as long as possible. And the British were very cunning and clever. This is history. I'm talking about history. I'm not talking about philosophy, culture, tradition, nothing. This book is pure history, and everything is reference. You can double check. No worries. Okay. So their model was to divide and rule, and they experimented in India for almost 200 years. They made so many experiments, and they found the right manner to control a civilization. Okay. So the divide and rule policy made them to come out with a lot of laws, acts of parliament, and also to plan and divide the society, right? Because the Varna Asrama system is a horizontal system. It's not vertical, it's not hierarchical. There's no such thing as Brahmana first, Kshatriya 2, Vaishya 3, and Shudra number 4. It's all in a flat plateau. Okay? anybody can be anyone they wish to be, because we have a lot of proof, evidence. Valmiki Muni was a hunter, and then due to meditation and all that, he became a Brahmana, and then he wrote the Ramayana. Vyasa Muni was born to his mother was a fisher woman, right? And there's so many of this.
Vishwamitra is a king.
Yeah, carry on.
Vishwamitra is a king, right? With determination, he has become parallel to Vasishtha, right?
Yeah, and then Paramasura was a Brahmana who became a Kshatriya. So it was very fluid. There was no restriction. Even today, there's no restriction, because personally, I know people who are pursuing scriptural studies in India, right? If they have the inclination and the aptitude to study, the ability to learn, they are taken in and they learn. No, it's not 1-2 years; it's 5 to 10 years they learn, and then they go through the initiation and they go through the whole process. They are not what do you call divided or pushed away because they came from this poor family or this family. There's no such thing. In reality, there's no such thing.